National Assembly Speaker Justin Muturi has dared members of parliament to impeach him following his remarks that the Building Bridges Initiative BBI report cannot be introduced for debate in the National Assembly. In a press briefing on Monday, Muturi insisted the House standing orders do not allow the BBI report unveiled last week by President Uhuru Kenyatta to be introduced in Parliament in its current form. According to the Speaker, the BBI report is a product of the executive arm of government. Therefore, it can only be allowed for debate in Parliament as a government policy document from the executive through the President's address. At the same time, the Speaker noted that the report could also find its way in Parliament in form of a bill that will be tabled in the county assemblies for consideration before being introduced to the National Assembly and Senate. The Speaker triggered a political stir on Sunday when he first announced that the BBI report cannot be currently introduced in Parliament. In response to the Speaker's remarks, Gatundu South MP Moses Kuria said, "Why Justin Muturi would allow himself to be bribed with a tilapia meat by John Badi in Migori to rule out a parliamentary route for BBI is a mystery for me. Today I will start collecting signatures to impeach him." Muturi has, however, rubbished the impeachment threats. Meanwhile, political leaders remain divided on whether the BBI report should take the parliamentary route or be subjected to a referendum. On one hand, Deputy President Ruto and his supporters are in favor of the parliamentary route, while opposition leader Raila Odinga wants a people-centered initiative.
First of all, is to appreciate that the task force was appointed and gazetted by the President in exercise of his powers under the Constitution to set up any such task forces. And therefore, it really is an executive function. Parliament was not in any way involved in the setting up of the task force, which became known as the BBI. And therefore, the report was also again produced and handed over to the appointing authority. It's for the appointing authority to make decisions as to what to do with the report. Parliament can only receive a report from the executive if it's in the form of a policy document, or if, for instance, under Article 132 of the Constitution, the President is coming to brief the House and update the nation on the status of implementation of the national values and principles of governance as enshrined under Article 10 of the Constitution. One of those values, as you all know, is human dignity, human rights, inclusiveness, sharing, and devolution of power. Those are some of the, I'm just picking some of the key values contained in Article 10. And when I read parts of the BBI report, they seem to address those issues of inclusiveness as captured in the Constitution. And therefore, as far as we are concerned, since this effort did not include or involve Parliament from the word go, one would have to distill it out there before it can find a leg or feet with which to walk into Parliament. As it is now, it doesn't have the wheels, because it has not been reduced or distilled as would be expected into a document that the executive, through the President, could then forward it or bring it to Parliament. That's all. That's the only thing that I was trying to clarify myself. That it is a report, yes, it touches many issues about unemployment, about the job creation, about national ethos, some of which are well captured also both in Article 10 and also under Chapter 6 of the Constitution.
In essence, we are not ruling out the probability of it coming to Parliament after it finds the legs you're talking about.
Well, as a report, no. We cannot receive a report that is not from a parliamentary committee or through which has a parliamentary processes. We did not originate it, and therefore we cannot receive it or even claim to receive it, because it is not ours. As was indicated by the appointing authority, the desire would be for more Kenyans to now read it, look at it, make what they feel about it. If there are any additions or subtractions that the Kenyans may wish, the document still belongs out there. It is not yet ripe to come to Parliament. And while I say this, I am fully aware that there are some propositions in that report that could lead to, suggestions to amend the current constitution, certain aspects of the constitution. But again, we haven't reached there. This is still just a report. It's it's still very embryonic by way of being a legislative document. But remember, whichever method, and the methods proposed in the Constitution for amending it, one would be through a parliamentary initiative, and the other would be through a public initiative, popular initiative from the people, just like Punguza Mizigo was, or purported to be. But as it is now, even if there are those proposals in the report, they have not been reduced into anything that one can talk about legislation. And Parliament being a place for legislation primarily, we haven't reached there. If the time comes that there is need, even if it's by popular initiative, the process again are there, collection of the 1 million signatures, taking it, doing the draft, putting the questions that may need to go to a referendum. But also, even before we get there, there would be the need to take it to the county assemblies, so that you find whether the county assemblies have passed it. After that is when then it can come to Parliament in the two houses, as required by the Constitution. Before that has happened, for us now, for anybody to start even arguing that this is going to be, it can be brought to Parliament. How? What is it coming to Parliament to do? Is it a white paper? Is it a government policy document? It is none. It is none of those, until the owners of the document decide that yes, now it has reached a point when it can go to Parliament, and then of course then the procedures, both under the Constitution and under the standing orders, will then apply.
Speaker, having gone through the document, because we know that you're one of the best legal minds that we have in the country, having gone through that particular document and seen the proposals, could you probably entirely say that this would form the basis for legislation and just bring it to the House, having looked at it yourself?
There could be, there are areas which could need some legislation. But of course, a lot of them, if you look through that document, a lot of the proposals there are really by way of policies, implementation of, if it's about standards, ethics, we already have Chapter 6. If it is also about national values, in fact, we should be asking, why is it that we have not implemented some of those things that the report has already highlighted? Because they are there in the Constitution. So it is perhaps other people to look at it and say, we think that in order to implement these suggestions, this is what we have to do. Some of which are really executive in nature. It is the national executive, as well as indeed other executives in the devolved units, to pick up the report and see what it is that each can implement.
So plebiscite should be the last option.
I am not trying to prescribe one way or the other, but I think for me there's still need for more work to be done on the document, more ideas to be picked. I think when there are so many issues, how to grow the economy, that does not require legislation. It doesn't even require a referendum, because what do you go to ask people in a referendum that we need to do this to grow the economy? I mean, those are really policy matters that any elected government should be the one to do. So there are those which are really purely policy, which should be implemented without even, saying you want to go and ask the public. So what are you going to ask the public?
Reporting for Kenya Digital News, I'm Judith Mwende.